Dude, I can't do this shit, bro. This is not working out for me. Yo, can you let me know if you can see me? Because my screen is not moving. Can somebody text in the chat to see if you can see me, bro? What up? All right. What up, bro? This sucks, bro. For some fucking reason, bro. Excuse my life, man. My picture is not showing me anything. Like I can't even see myself. But can you hear me all right? Can you guys hear me all right over there? Let me know if you can hear me and if you see me all right. Word. Word. So the audio's good. You can hear me good. Video good. Great. All right. So listen, let's get into this. Let's get into this Naoya Inoue and Tapales fight. It's coming up around the corner right now, December 26th. You know, I'm sure that's going to be a good Christmas gift to all of us, right? I want to talk about that fight, but first, let's start off the show. Thank you for joining us here at Round One Sports Talk. We're going to be breaking down the Tapales night. Wait, I've been working on this. I'm going to say this guy's name right. Nah, bump that. Bro, because I love this dude, man. And I have to say his name right. And I've been practicing this, so I don't want to forget it. And a lot of my subscribers, you know what I'm saying, been helping me out on the pronunciation and shit. And like I really want to pronounce this guy's name right correctly. So how did he say it? He said it's pronounced. Oh man, this is not happening right now. When I need the translation that I saw, I can remember it. It's pronounced Naoya Inoue. Inoue. Naoya. Naoya Inoue. The Japanese superstar, dog. You know what I'm saying? Yo, I really want to get his name right. I'm bad with names. I know that. I'll be tearing up everybody's name. Forgive me about that. But if you could look past that. And when I mentioned his record is 25 and 22 knockouts. I believe I said 25 and 21. But if you caught that, that means that you're paying attention and you're listening to the things that I have to say. And I appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? But if you could look past sometimes a little bit of reporting error, then I know this man very well. It just might have been a little fumble on that, and view the video of its in entirety. You know what I mean? There was a little sketch there I put in against the Donito Donaire fight when he hit him with that body shot. I thought that was hilarious. Yeah. So Marlon Tapales coming into this fight, he's 37, 3-19. Out of the 3 losses he has, he's been stopped twice. He's been knocked out twice out of the 3 losses. Okay. He's 31 years old. He's 5'4". He's actually an inch shorter than the Japanese superstar. All right. He's a southpaw. Okay. He currently has the WBA and the IBF. Now, he's coming into this matchup, and a lot of people are not really giving him a shot against this Japanese superstar. In fact, Naoya Inoue is, among many, in my book, I believe he is the best skilled fighter we have today. Now, whether or not we're going to count it by achievements, Terrence Crawford has the greatest award. I understand that. But, you know, after December 26th, the torch is going to be passed for many different reasons. And we're going to be getting into that. Okay. Um, uh, um, the reason why this is going to be a very special fight, and there's a lot riding on this right here, is because not only is he going to secure all 4 belts in 2 separate weight divisions, right? Okay. But he's also going to be the quickest man to ever unify 4 belts, period. Period. Okay. Um, and the fact that he's also jumping into a new weight division, I want you to understand something right now. When Terrence Crawford made his jump from 140 to 147 and he fought for the WBO, he had 7 fights before he came up against on his 8th fight against Errol Spence Jr. It took him almost 7 years to unify all 4 belts, chasing Errol Spence Jr. all around. I mean, truthfully, he probably could have did it in less time because Errol Spence Jr. got into 2 multiple car accidents and attached retina and so forth and so forth, so it was a lot of prolonged. But nevertheless, it took him damn near 7 years to unify all 4 belts. The Japanese superstar, Naoya Inoue, listen, these reporters are reporting to you that he's going to do it within a remarkable calendar year. But that's not true. Okay. He's going to do it within 6 months. That's not a year. That's got to be some kind of super record. You unified 4 belts in a new weight division on your first shot in 6 months. You didn't fight one guy that had all 4 belts. You legitimately had to fight 2 guys, right? Okay. And the difficulty level on that is he's moving up. A lot of fighters, when they move up and they transition, it's recommended they take up a tune-up fight to acclimate themselves to the division. This guy ain't taking no tune-up fight. You know what he considers tune-up fight? The champion. The champion. Give me the champion first. You know what? Don't give me the second best champion, the third best champion. I want the number 1 champion on my first shot. Stephen Kubo Fulton coming into that fight against the Japanese superstar was considered by many to be the best 122-pounder in the world. Am I right or am I right? Can I get an R1, a round 1? Am I right? Listen, so Marlon Tapales, I believe, was also put down. Thank you, Phil. Um, Marlon Tapales, I believe, was kind of pushed into this fight. I understand that he wants to be daring to be great. I believe that they played for him for a plane ride there. They put him here and they said, hey, this is going to be your biggest payday to date. There is no bigger fight for you right now. So Marlon Tapales, win, lose, or draw, this is the right move for him to give us this fight. The fact that he's not running, I commend him. He could have took a different road. He might have not made as much as money in one night against anyone else. But if he held those belts for 2 or 3 years running, he could have accumulated that in 3 or 4 fights. You know what I'm saying? So he could have took a lesser road. He would have still got there, but he would have been champion for a lot longer. He just won those belts off MJ, and they quickly threw him in the lion's den because Top Rank really wants to get everything they can out of this Japanese superstar. If you guys remember, back when the Japanese guy was coming up, a lot of people were calling him a hype job, and that Top Rank was promoting fighters like this and putting them on the pound for pound list, and the corruption inside of the promotions was horrible, right? But they never took into consideration that this guy was the truth. He was the real deal. It just so happens that Top Rank ended up getting him. I could see Top Rank promoting fighters like this from other countries because they have big followings and they can get a lot of money in those events. And those guys over there revere very high sometimes when they accomplish some things. So it's just a business aspect of it all. But they had a real one right here. They didn't. I don't think that anybody knew. Just like Tom Brady, nobody knew 6th-round draft pick, right? Who the hell knew he was going to win 6 rings like that? Who the hell knew this little 5'5" Japanese little? I mean, he started his career at 108. Can you imagine what I haven't weighed 108 pounds since I was like 14. You know what I mean? So when you first meet him, you're like, oh, yeah, you're a boxer? Oh, okay. All right, good. I'll sign you. You're winning. Okay. Right. Oh, you didn't even make your Japanese Olympic team? They decided that you weren't good enough to make the Japanese Olympic team, right? They gave the fight basically to the other guy because I watched the fight, and I believe Naoya Inoue won that fight. So they were believing in the other guy. Win, lose, or draw, they decided that's the way they were going to go. So you're not even good enough to make your Olympic. I'll sign you Top Rank. I got you. I don't think they knew that he was going to turn out into I mean, you have an idea. You say, man, this guy's pretty good, but do you really believe it when you look at him? Come on. There's no way. There's no way. What caught my eye with the Japanese superstar when I started really, really paying attention to him was in the World Series of Boxing. That's when I came to find him out because I stumbled upon him because I was actually trying to cover. Well, at that time, I wasn't even reporting anything, but I was just, supporting as a fan, actually, Miguel Rodriguez, the Puerto Rican undefeated fighter. Now, he was at the time, the little buzz as the Puerto Ricans go, right? And I'm Puerto Rican. So, I wanted to see, I was like, when Miguel Rodriguez, I had no idea really who this guy was, right? And it was like, I seen some of his fights, but it was like, at the time, I remember, vaguely remember watching the fight when he won the belt against, what was his name there? Um, Hernandez, I think it was, right? But right? But it was when I really, really was like, whoa, is when he knocked out Rodriguez in the World Series of Boxing. And I was like, oh shit, wait a minute, Rodriguez is undefeated. He has some buzz. Rodriguez is a dog. And the way he dismantled him, I was like, holy shit. But I thought it was a fluke. I thought maybe Rodriguez something was wrong with him. He was hurt, something. He stretched Payano in the first part of it, right? And then he moved up to fight Rodriguez later. Listen, I didn't think he was that good. And then I started realizing that he was really that good. And when he came into that fight with Donito Donaire, a lot was said inside of that fight. I had no idea that the injury that he sustained to his eye was a cracked orbital bone in the fight. I thought it was just a regular cut. I thought that his eye was just cut and that was it. I didn't know that he fractured his orbital bone. And if you look at the Japanese superstar now, his eye is kind of like down a little. And that's what I mean about boxing, the brutal part of it all. Even a man such talented like him, you can get caught. Hats off to him for surviving such a big. Oh, his nose was also broken in the fight too, by the way. So he had a cracked orbital bone, broken nose, and he was rocked in that fight. I mean, by the second round, he's trying to sustain an injury that most men would have folded. Most men would have folded, breaking their orbital bone. But at the time, he told his coach, he told his dad, Shingo, right in the corner. Shingo asked him, because later I found this out. He said, "Can you see, son?" He said, "I'm seeing triple." He said, "Hit the guy in the middle." He said, "Hit the guy in the middle." He says, "I'm seeing him double." He's like, "Yo, hit," you know what I mean? So That was a big injury, and it really showed me that the Japanese superstar was really battle tested after that. I mean, the total destruction of Donier in the second fight really, really set him apart, because I started seeing that his skill was just that much to really outsmart a veteran, crafty fighter, Hall of Fame fighter, 3 division fighter. Such as a Donier, with a shot like that where he just rode back and snapped them, you know, uh, that was a really crafty punch to a veteran fighter like that. When they say that Donier was past his prime when he came into that fight versus the Japanese superstar, okay, they're saying he was past his prime. But most veterans, when they're past their prime, when they lose a step, they gain a step in experience, in fight experience. Now they're cutting off the meat, off the fat of their fighting game. They're that much faster on the trigger, and they know that much more. They're even more dangerous at a veteran stage. Sometimes some veterans go on too long in their career and they look really bad. I understand that. But if the veteran, every veteran has that one good fight, that one real good knockdown, bag out, drag fight that you see the old flares of him come back. And I believe the Donito Donaire, Naoya Inoue fight, the first one was his like last big great hurrah fight for Donaire. By the time they made up the second time, the Japanese superstar wasn't gonna play with him. He's like, this dude cracked my order. Nah, I ain't playing with him. I'm putting him away. And he did so, in an impressive fashion. Tapales right now doesn't, for me anyway, doesn't seem to present anything that the Japanese superstar hasn't already seen. He's been up against fighters like this, Filipino fighters. He fought guys that will shell up. Okay. And some guys have played the shell up game with the Japanese superstar. They've tried it anyway. Paul Butler, he got turned into a human punching bag. So that's not the way to go. All right. Now, the only thing that I have for Tapales is Stephen Kubo Fulton was able to sustain a lot of big punches from the Japanese superstar in the beginning of those rounds. Okay. The Japanese superstar, in fact, hit him with that shot that he dropped him with several times in that fight. If you remember, I know you guys do. He hit him with that same shot, and he was able to take that. He took it until he couldn't. You know what I mean? So that's my question. Tapales is a shorter, stockier fighter. Okay. And sometimes when you fight shorter guys than you, because I'm pretty sure that the Japanese superstar is used to fighting guys that are taller or much taller than him. Okay. So he's shorter this time. That's ironic, right? So I was like, wow. So the thing with the Japanese superstar is that every time I try to think for a counter measure for Tapales, I go, that's not going to work. That's not going to work against the Japanese superstar. He's too smart. Damn it, is he smart? He's never too far out. He's never too far in. The most dangerous spot you want to be in a fight is mid-range. Why? Because he could hit you too. You see, you're giving him too much opportunity. You better be quick on the trigger. And if you're going to be a player that plays the front of the net, like a tennis player, he doesn't play back, he wants to play front, it's because he's preparing, he's got to be nice. You got to be good, So Naoya Inoue is good everywhere. He's fundamentally sound. His footwork is good. His twitch muscle reflexes are good. His fundamentals are good. His ring generalship is good. His power is good. His stamina is good. He can go 12 rounds, and I believe he can go another 12. Have you ever seen him like completely gassed out? No. So he's well coached. Hats off to his father Shingo and his brother. They got another cousin that's coming up. I'm pretty sure that you guys know about him. I don't want to bring him up in this video because we're talking about Tapales and Naoya in this one, but his brother as well and his cousin. The family's really doing their thing out there, and I believe we have much, much more to come from his family as well. But this fight right here is just so big, so big. You know, I think that well, listen, you guys heard a lot about me, what I think. What do you guys think is going to happen in this fight? And let me remind you before you give me a comment. There has been no left-hand fighters that has gone past 3 rounds against the Japanese superstar to present time. No fighter, no left-hand fighter. All left-hand fighter opponents that he's come up against, he's dispatched them immediately. He has a fast start against left-handed fast fighters. Payano was one of them. Payano shifted one way wrong. Fight was over. He woke up with a flashlight in his eyes. Payano is, you know what I'm saying? You're not going to make a mistake. You can't make too many mistakes with this guy at all. So once again, where do you see or how do you see this fight playing out? Do you believe that Tapales can make it into the later rounds? And if he can make it into the later rounds, does he have a better opportunity if he can get past at least 6 rounds? My opinion, come on, man. Listen, who are we talking about here? We're talking about um, Naoya Inoue. He stays ready like Little C's pizza, hot and ready. You know, um, he every round, he's nonstop action. He's not gonna get tired, and his power carries. As you could see, he knocked out Stephen Cool Fulton in the late rounds. So I was questioning one of the biggest punches in the fight with Tapales was the fact that he can counter over the jab. He has a good first step over the jab, and he surprises a lot of fighters with that punch. He does. He really does. He's fought Japanese fighters before in Japan too, in fact. And the fighters that he fought at the time for Japan, they were pretty decent fighters, and he was beating them all. What the thing with Tapales is, I don't still think he corrected his mistake. I believe he's still weak on the body. I don't think Tapales is as strong to the body. MJ surprised him to the body in that fight. And he took out his air and he started gassing out. And MJ started putting on pressure. Had MJ fought him like that in the beginning rounds, Tapales wouldn't be the champion right now. It would be the Japanese superstar versus MJ right now. Okay, because that fight was pretty close. Tapales stepped on the gas in the front, and what I believe is Tapales right now. I can't say that Tapales is a front runner, because he's been in big fights and big situations. Okay. He knows how to control the pace, but he's real smart with his punch selection and the way he throws his punches. Now, I have to remind you that everyone is not going to look like the Japanese superstar. And just because you don't look like him doesn't mean that you can't fight. You have a unique style, and and if you know yourself as a fighter, you can master your own style. And that's why some fighters, people don't understand how the hell they're not losing. Like Navarrete. Navarrete, bro, his style is as crazy as it is. And what's he doing? Winning, 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 winning. And everybody that comes into the fight against Navarrete, he's always the underdog. Every single man, listen, I can't remember the last time Navarrete was favored in a fight. Okay? And there's a man that truly knows himself. He knows what he can do, he knows his abilities, and he knows what he's strong in. And he knows what he has to do in mental preparation going into the fight. Navarrete's never going into the fight saying, I'm going to knock you out in the first round. That's one thing. He doesn't look for the knockout. Navarrete just fights you. And if it comes, it comes. You see? And that's what unique's about that guy. And people like Marlon Tapales, right? Fighters like that. I have to give it to him. He's been around for a while. He has fighting experience. He has 37 fights. He has 37 fights. The Japanese superstar has 25 fights. So and which is remarkable. The world is gonna soon have to give this Japanese superstar his credit. They're gonna have to acknowledge him because damn it, with only 25 fights, man, he has 4 weight divisions. Come on, are you serious right now? You mean to tell me he has 4 weight divisions? He unified all 4 belts in one of those weight divisions, and he stands to unify another 4? And it'll be his 26th professional fight. It'll be his 23rd. I'm not going to call it, right? And then it'll also be his 22nd consecutive world championship fight. Fuck it, I'll say it. It'll be his 23rd knockout. He's gonna knock him out, man. There's no jinx in this dude, bro. He didn't get here by luck. He doesn't need me to be like, oh no, I don't want to jinx him. This motherfucker is a beast. You don't get to name the monster and hold it down the way he's holding it down. You know how many times people wanted to make a meme about this dude? When Stephen Kubo Fulton they was calling him the Monster Slayer already. You didn't earn that title, homeboy. You're gonna have to earn that. You know what I'm saying? Before you start saying that shit. Listen, I gotta admit, this guy is probably one of the best boxers, pure boxers that I have seen in a long time. And like I said, I reintegrate this. There are many, many different styles in the sport of boxing. There are no wrong punches. Okay. There have been fighters that are great at what they do. Naoya Inoue, Naoya Inoue, his boxing style caters to the boxers. He is what when you see a boxer perform, that's what you want him to look like. Sometime when I'm viewing a fight and I see a fighter take a break in a ring and I'm saying to myself, yo, throw punches, throw punches. What is he, a fucking robot? He never gets tired. I never take into consideration that because I'm just excited in the moment, yelling at the TV screen, telling my fighter to attack the other guy. Why isn't he throwing punches? He's fucking feeling those punches and he's hurt and he's tired. Okay. Somehow, some way, this Japanese superstar is um he just steps on the gas, man. You know what I mean? When he steps on the gas, he starts off real strong and real fast. And his approach is a very forward approach. One time, I said a comment about Shakur Stevenson, and I was talking about forward approach. But you got to pay attention sometimes to what I'm saying in between that, because I said the word intelligently, forward approach, intelligent. Okay. Not just forward approach, just going straight like this. You know what I'm saying? That would be stupid. That would be crazy. You're gonna get knocked out, right? But you have to have a more intelligent forward pressure style that is fan pleasing. You win fights by punches landed, not by running away. So uh Super Barlos 1990 what? Is that for real? What's up, homeboy? Thank you for supporting the channel. Uh, but you just messed up my train of thought with some night dropping 1999 like that on the brother. You know what I'm saying? You gotta let me know. You know what I mean? Yo, thank you. Thank you so much. Well, where was I? So look, like, yeah. Yeah, I look, this fight in a lot of ways is very, very important to the sport of boxing because the Japanese superstar is really raising the bar. He's showing us with the right discipline and the dedication. And if you're not out there partying, a lot of fighters fall victim to the lamplight because when Floyd Mayweather was making his rise, his persona and his image was an image of flamboyant, and getting people to view him and dislike him or love him, but you were gonna pay to see him, and you wanted somebody to knock his ass out. So each time you tuned in, and that was his image or his persona. Some boxers coming up behind him probably didn't understand that, and he didn't have the time to explain it to them. Like fighters like Adrian Broner, he bought too much into the facade of boxing, where he wanted to also live that outside of boxing. If you didn't know this, Floyd Mayweather usually would go inside the club, allow paparazzi to take pictures of him. He'd sneak out the back door and go jogging. He never drank, doesn't smoke, and he was really dedicated to his craft. But he understood that there was an image. Some fighters fall to this, and we never really get to see our fighter develop into the fighter that we thought he would become. And how sad is that? The Japanese superstar, man, he just seems dedicated. He really does. There were a few times that I really try to look up after him to see if they were like, if he fell into that Japanese mobs. You should see some of the crowds that show up for this man, at thousands of people. And a person can take that all in and just go with it. Take a year vacation off, take 2 years off. No, this guy looks serious. And had it not been for that corona epidemic, he would have secured those other belts a lot faster too. Let's keep that in mind, that those fights that he had scheduled got canceled because of that. So he probably would have secured those other first four a lot sooner. He's really showing he's like on that Tom Brady-esque Michael Jordan as an athlete in his sport. Pretty soon, you might have to put his face on the Mount Rushmore of boxing. And I'm not even saying pretty soon, because legitimately, he's got the records and the numbers and the belts to make an argument right now. And after December 26th, oh, his argument's going to be strong, right? But the reason why I'm not in such a rush to put him there, because I like making videos like this and saying, I told you so. We told you so. All right. He's going to rock them all. He's going to rock them all. And to all the viewers and everybody that did say the super fight is Gervonta Tank Davis, that would be the fight to have. That's a dream fight, man. I wish that would happen. I really do. I think, thank you, Chang, for the $10. Thank you. I think that thank you for the support. Thank you for the donations. Thank you. I think that that's a super fight with Tank Davis, but sometimes these are the look. Let me tell you something. Isn't Tank Davis about the money, the dollars and the cents? He is. He always said he wants the biggest fights. Tank Davis wasn't a man that was saying he was chasing belts. He said he wanted the biggest fights, the biggest paydays. You entice him with enough money to fight that Japanese superstar after December 26th. If he successfully unifies all four belts, he can vacate those belts, and with enough money, he can meet Gervonta Tank Davis at a catch weight. What do you guys think about that? You think that Gervonta Davis will meet him at a catch weight? I mean, the only other fighter that I thought at 126 would give him a fight was Foster, and he just got rocked. So who at 126? Stephen Kubo Fulton is probably on his way back up there. We've already seen that fight. You know what I'm saying? If there's nobody else, I'll see that fight again. I always thought that Stephen Kubo Fulton might meet the Japanese superstar further up in the divisions again. I saw that in the near future. Maybe not so soon. I want to see that fight again. Let other people get a shot. There was rumors and speculation that the Japanese superstar was going to spin the block, so to speak, in the 122-pound division. He didn't want to leave no stone unturned. He didn't want to let Casamara or none of them other dudes say, oh, I called you out and you ducked me. Now he's saying, as soon as I handle this business and I get all these belts, I'm coming back for you. He already said it. In Japan, I saw the interview. He already said it. He's spinning the block on them dudes. And them dudes is shaking. Because let me tell you something right now. Them dudes can't beat that dude. You know, but they got big names too. They got big names. You know, so those are fights where that he can put together, you know. But December 26th, I believe that Tapales has a huge puzzle to solve. A huge puzzle to solve. Great job, bro. Thank you. Thank you very much, Chang. I want to see Naoya take tank out. Um, listen, okay, if if Inoue was taller, bigger, he would take out Shakur Stevenson or Haney, right? Okay, check this out. Inoue could defeat and get Foster a run for his money. He'll beat Foster, right? All right. I think he'll beat Foster. You know why? Because Foster's the same height as Jamie McDonald, the European champion that he knocked out in the first round. Foster is lengthier and craftier, but what it seems like, if you're even faster, he's even faster in the cut in the inside, where that he doesn't have to wait for you to open up. Foster is fast, but sometimes that's even a backfire for the fighter that the Japanese superstar is fighting. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just that much faster for him. When Jamie McDonald tried to meet him with speed in the middle of the ring, that's what happened. He caught him off the top of the head, and it was over from there. You know, and as far as your question with if he was bigger, he would fight Shakur Stevenson and Devin Haney. Check this out, guys. You know, this is something I wasn't realizing neither. Okay, but the Japanese superstar is 5'5". Tank Davis is 5'5". And if Tank Davis can fight Shakur Stevenson and Devin Haney, why can't the Japanese superstar fight him? We're just talking about a couple pounds now, not height. We're just talking about if he can gain the weight now. That's it. If Javante Davis is 5'5". The Japanese superstar is 5'5". Of course he can fight Shakur Stevenson. Of course he can fight Devin Haney. He's the same height as Tank Davis. And if Tank Davis can do it, he can do it. I don't know why in my head I think he's too small. He's not that short. It's just that if his frame can carry the weight, and if he wouldn't be as sluggish at that weight, that's all I got to see. Because he's not smaller than Tank Davis. And if you got confident, like I said, if Tank Davis can fight Devin Haney and Shakur Stevenson, he can do it, bro. He can do it. Yeah, Devin Haney's a thick dude. Oh, yeah, that's the problem too. Yeah, Devin Haney is a big motherfucker, right? See, because Devin Haney doesn't walk around at 147. I mean, not even 135, you know, or even at 140. For God's sake, I think I saw Devin Haney when he went into that ring with Lomachenko. You know, I don't have a fucking scale, bro, but bro, he looked big. He looked like he was like 175, 180. You know, I saw that he had that big sweater on. I don't know how thick it was, but he looked big as shit. And Lomachenko was like, "What are you, a heavyweight?" You know? So, you know, the fact that the fact still remains. Tank Davis is 5'5". He's 5'5", bro. And he's barely 135 pounder. He looks a little pudgy when he goes in for 135. So you can see he's basically maxing out. Tank Davis. You know, he went up to 140 and fought Mario Barrio. He looked like a little punch ball, right? But he still did it. He still did it. He still had speed, power, explosiveness, his twitch muscle reflexes. He carried his weight great. He didn't look tired. Tank Davis looked awesome at 140, to be honest. He did. He looked great at 140 against Mario Barrios. Mario Barrios coming into that fight was undefeated. He was undefeated. So, yeah, I think that this Japanese guy got a lot of us fooled. I might think he might have been starving himself. You know what I'm saying? I think, pretty soon, he's 30 years old now. He's coming into his the height of his career, the prime of his career. His shoulders look wider. His calves seem to be growing every freaking fight. They're like this big. You ever see his calves? They're like this. They're like tree trunks, So it shows that his lower weight will be able to support the topper weight because his lower weight looks already bigger. So if you put a little bit more muscle mass on the top part, bro, I see it. He might be able to do this shit, bro. The more I think about it, he might be able to do this. I look, to be honest with you guys, I've been watching boxing for a very long time, and I have seen a lot of fighters come and go. I have, I had the privilege to, at the tail end, watch some VHS cassette tapes of Sugar Ray Leonard and Marvelous Hagler when my pops would sit me down and show me them. There was a time in boxing I was really spoiled. I watched Pernell Whitaker, Julio Cesar Chavez, Floyd Mayweather Jr., Winky Wright. I just watched so many great fighters, and for a big moment in time, I was really spoiled because I always expected these big kind of fights. And for a long time, I veered away from boxing. Boxing right now is making a real big comeback, and a lot of these kids are coming up. Is it me? Is it only me? But a lot of these kids look really good and really advanced, and it goes to show that the tradition of boxing in America is rich, and it's been around for a long time, and these gyms have been around in these corners for a very long time, and these kids are getting better. They are getting better, but sometimes some of them fall victim through the cracks in the systems, and we never get them see them develop. And that's a sad case. But every now and then we get one or two or three, and now it looks like we're getting more. And fighters like Boo Boo Schuster, the American Puerto Rican fighter Zion, all these guys that are coming up, Madison, Camille Moulton, all these young fighters. Camille Moulton looks like the next Tank Davis, doesn't he? Like everyone wants to talk for him, but the kid's coming along well. He just came into his second victory. Congratulations for that. So boxing looks very exciting. 2023 has been a big year and an exciting year for boxing for all of us. We have gotten some big fights, and I believe 2024 is just going to be just as big, with some networks making their way out and some networks making their way in. Boxing's looking promising. I just hope that these networks don't get greedy and shoot themselves in the foot and want to charge us for every small amateur fight and think that any belt that has mention of a title fight is a pay-per-view fight. If they treat us well, I'm sure that we as fans, we will stick around and watch the sport. I just hope they don't kill the sport on us. And so right now, it's been a pleasure watching this Japanese superstar continue his rise and his descent throughout the division. It's been very exciting. I have not seen any fighter in recent date and time that has been putting up a more dominant performance, moving up throughout the ranks. It's been knockout after knockout, spectacular moment after one wow moment after another, and he is truly showing, with the right dedication and discipline to the sport, that this is the bar of excellence, and he's setting it. And what an amazing thing, because it also is creating opportunities for fighters from over there. Do you know what he's doing for Japanese fighters right now, putting Japan on the map like that? And also for Filipino fighters, and also for anybody in that region. And for any little kid out there that's thinking, man, I'm just, this little skinny little boy, I can't. And he's proving it, bro. Chase your dream. Ain't nothing bigger than that. So he's doing a lot much more for boxing, and I can see that. I can see that. So this fight right here, um I just can't wait to see it. I really can't wait to see it, because I'm almost 99% guaranteed certain that we're gonna get an all wow moment in this fight. We're gonna get that. You're gonna be like, oh shit, like it's gonna happen. And that's how I see it. Let me answer some of these questions. Davis is a big dude. Okay, bye. So right that. Okay, bye bye bye. Um he looks huge. Devin Haney does look huge. And you want to know something about Devin Haney right now? Listen, for him vacating those belts, I can see that the other organizations, once the WBC stripped him of the belt and gave Shakur Stevenson the opportunity to crack at it, the WBA was already the one first in line, so they were already pressuring him under fighting Javante Tank Davis, and sometimes Javante Tank Davis is not like your traditional shit talker by any means. After every fight, he never called anybody out. He never does. He's not like, oh, I'm watching this, I want to fuck you up. The guy asks him a question, he answers it. That's not shit talking. You're at your job, they're asking you a question. You know what I mean? So whenever they ask questions, or when he's already in a fight or on stage or in an interview, they got to talk shit to sell the fight. Well, then that's when he does it. But he's a man of a little bit of words. Tank Davis, and look at the one time he wants to cap on somebody or take a shot at something, he went and said that about Devin Haney. Fast forward to today, bro, he could be the WBA super champion right now, and that would be a second division. He would legitimately have two weight divisions right now, and he can't take that belt because of pride, because he said he called him an email champion. But at the same token, I talked about this, if he wins it in his next fight, he stands to honor it and get it in the ring. So it's the same thing. It's the same exact thing if he accepts it or doesn't accept it right now, because his very next fight is going to be for the WBA Super. And he doesn't even have to take criticism from Devin Haney capping on him, because he took it from an email, just like he criticized him for doing it. This way he'll get it like the fighter's way. So yeah, you know, um, Naoya, Inoue, Naoya, Naoya, Naoya. Is that how you say it? Naoya. Am I saying it right? Am I saying it right? Naoya. Is that how you say it? Bro, the first time I ever heard them say his name, the American announcers that were announcing his fight, they didn't say it right. And that burned inside of my head. So it's like I can't get it out of my head the way I pronounce it. I don't know what I don't know what it is. It's just every time I start talking, it just flows like that. I think I learned it and recorded it the wrong way, and now the right way can't get in there for some reason. All right. Plan is to be a 6 division world champion. So the Devin fight might be happening when he's around 35 years old. That is a good time when it might be happening. That fight might be happening when he's around 35 years old. Because Devin Haney is young. Devin Haney is 24 years old. The Japanese superstar is 30 years old. So technically, he can move up to like 140 where Devin Haney's at, if Devin Haney was still at the 140 trying to get all 4 belts there, right? Okay. And he could move up to go up there. Devin Haney will still be in his 20s. That fight is very much doable and possible when the Japanese superstar is 35 years old, has packed on some more weight, and is moved up in division. Come to think about it, that's doable too, because of Devin Haney's age. He's 6 years younger than the Japanese superstar right now. Yeah, he can wait. Yeah, that's a good point, bro. That's a good point. Who's at that point right there? Uh, I've been wanting G. I'm gonna call you G, right? I've been wanting to say your name, but my thing is yellow. It's blurry as hell, and I gotta admit, I'm gonna need some glasses, bro. You know what I mean? This is some bullshit. Can't start getting. You know what I mean? I might need some, bro. Who does get so much hate in the West? Why does he get so much hate in the West? It's not about him getting so much hate in the West. It's about false narratives being pushed in the West. What happened was during the time of the Japanese superstars' rise, there was a big clash going on in boxing about a lot of black African boxers being treated differently. Terrence Crawford was going through a lawsuit with Top Rank at the time, and he was suing Bob Arum for being racially biased towards him and his career and halting his career. He's saying that Bob Arum's the reason why he didn't become a superstar a lot faster. Now, that's for another day and another video. Okay. So what happened was when the Japanese superstar was coming up, a lot of boxing YouTube channels were lashing out at Top Rank. And Bob Arum was in a bad situation. And a lot of people didn't at that time when he was being called racist all over the internet, all his fighters and top ranks, people were like, and the Japanese superstar happened to fall right in between that time period. You see? So a lot of people were going to their YouTube channel and they weren't really checking him out, but they were already assuming if he was a top ranked fighter, then he was a fraud. That he was like another favorite fighter, like a Lomachenko. Lomachenko can fight as a fighter, but you got to admit that he had a lot of people pushing his career through. For God's sake, he got a title fight on his second professional fight. He lost the fight. He didn't win the belt. That's what happened. But had he won that fight, he would have been the fastest boxer in history, even though he already is at 4 fights. How do you lose your first title fight and then with your next 2 fights, they give you another title fight? That's unheard of. That's unheard of. Within 2 fights, bro, it takes fighters years to get another shot at a title. So as you can see, he had a lot of powers behind the scenes that were helping him. And they were promoting him because in the Ukraine scene, there was a lot of money. You see, so it was good to promote him. And the fact that he also was a great boxer. So they had a good combination in a package and they wanted to capitalize on him as quick as possible. That's all it is business. But it's kind of unfair to other boxers that are coming up, making their way in through the ranks. And some people are getting jumps and pushes around the ranks. You see? So when this was happening, they all went and just really assumed that the Japanese superstar was a fraud. And that the reason why he was getting these knockouts is because they had to be putting up against some tomato cans, right? But when they started really recognizing what he was doing is when he won the Covenant Muhammad Ali trophy in the World Series of Boxing. He won the first trophy, and the way he did it. Okay, so after he wins that, they were like, "Oh yeah, 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 okay, cool, cool," because that Donito Donaire fight was a legendary fight. It was an instant classic, but they weren't convinced. They weren't convinced. They were like, "No, Donito Donaire was past his prime. You guys are still gassing this guy up. This guy's a hype job. The corruption is showing his face in the sport of boxing." And once fight fans were giving that by their favorite YouTube channel, they didn't question it because they believed in the guy that they was giving them their information. And a lot of these YouTube channels were mad. They were upset. And they wanted the brothers and a lot of to get respect. And I understand what they were doing. And I honored, it's cool. Fight for your rights. I get it. But they didn't take their time to really understand and to see that this guy was really special. He was a Tom Brady in disguise, man. No one knew he was going to become this kind of fighter. They were convinced that he was going to fall in mad previous fights. And when he finally came up to the Stephen Kubo Fulton, they didn't really have that much ammo. And the one thing that they had was, wait a minute, he never even sparred up against a black American fighter. He's never even fought it. And I was like, what the fuck does your skin color got to do with fighting? This is me. I'm like, he's just another fighter. And they're like, no, no, no. The black dudes are more athletic. Yeah, they are. But Japanese dudes and Chinese dudes, Asian dudes are mad athletic. I don't know, but do you ever see them like in circus acts and shit and how they be flipping and stuff? Bro, they just as athletic. So what the hell are you saying? Right? And they would just kept coming out and rocking this dude. And I was like, bro, that's a weak argument. I'm like, yo, that's a weak argument. Bro, if Stephen Kubo Fulton was a superior fighter and you said that, then I'd be like, okay, well, then let's look this shit up. But you went and said, nah, because he's a brother, he's going to rock. I says, nah, that's not how fighting works. That's not how fighting works. Fighting works is if you can kick ass, you can kick ass. So I knew at that point that what he had to do was prove himself. And in the beginning, I knew that he was really special. I was nervous a little bit because even, you start listening and paying attention a little bit to some of these guys. Now, I tune in to be like, oh, they don't know what they're talking about. And then they get me nervous. They start making me think like, wait a minute, Stephen Kubo. And I'm doing my own eye test against Brandon Figueroa. And I'm like, yo, Stephen Kubo Fulton can't do that against that Japanese dude. Now I'm seeing this shit and I know it. I know I'm watching it. I'm like, bro, you can't do that against this Japanese dude. And I knew it. And by the time I started watching these guys' videos, the Dante Nations, the Champ Size, all them dudes and shit, they had me thinking like, wait a minute, maybe Stephen Kubo Fulton is that fast. Maybe he never did. And I was like, snap out of it, bro. You know what the fuck you're looking at Edwin. You know exactly what you're seeing. And this guy is truly special. So, he got a lot of hate in the West because he came around during a real particular time. And let's be honest that a lot of those European fighters do good over there until they cross the pond. They come over here, Anthony Joshua, dethroned. Ricky Haddon, dethroned. A lot of great European fighters. There has been a handful that have come over and have been successful and been great world champions. But I don't think that over there they had by that time over there, they hadn't caught up to where the level of United States' boxing was at. And I've been waiting for a long time, for many years, so that a lot of other countries can get the experience and to bring up their level of competition. America has to be not afraid of competition. We never have been. You know what I'm saying? We will compete against anybody. But the thing with football in America, the Americans compete against the Americans. Football is not played anywhere else on the planet. It's an American game. Baseball is played everywhere else, but where's the best baseball game in town? In America. They play against themselves. They're never competing against like globally. Boxing is a global sport. And to pound your chest like this when the bar was uneven for many years, that's I don't think that's good sportsmanship. Allow these European dudes, these Japanese dudes, these Chinese dudes, these Dominican dudes, the Mexicans always been in it, you know what I'm saying? But allow more of these guys from different nations to get this kind of experience, man. I want to see, I just want to see the best fighting the best. And I believe that fighters can come from all walks of life. It's a shame to allow Bruce Lee to slip through the cracks and die off, and we never see him. What if that would have happened with Bruce, man? You know what I'm saying? So, I just Tapales is too slow. He looks slow. Tapales looks slow. The problem is Tapales has boxing speed. He does have boxing speed. And boxing speed is where timing beats speed. You see, Naoya Inoue can be fast. Anyone can be fast. But if you time your punch correctly, you will beat him to the punch. Timing beats speed all the time. All the time. So it's not just one thing to be fast. The Japanese superstar is not just fast. He's intelligent. And that's where his ring IQ comes in. He doesn't overextend on his punches. He doesn't put himself in position where that he is going to be susceptible to taking a big punch. He's always taking his opponent's jab away, and he's stepping to one side where that he's nullifying one of his opponent's arms, so that he knows that the punches are coming from this direction. Well, the best you're going to do is that uppercut from here on the inside like that. Once he makes that first step, he's cut off your right hand. You see? So he's so good. He is truly so good. So it's not just one thing to have speed, and it's not one thing that Tapales is slow. Because I understand that Tapales is not faster than Japanese superstar, but I've been talking about this. Tapales is an intelligent fighter. He's a well-placed puncher. Well-placed. On many, many occasions already, he has beaten the much faster man. Yes, those other Japanese fighters were faster than Tapales. He knocked them out. All right? But them fighters are not this Japanese fighter. Inoue. They're not him. And the thing is that this Japanese fighter right here has a good chin. He can take a punch, and I've talked about this. Some fighters, sometime in their career, they're always the hammer. They're always the hammer. And the time that he became the nail, when Donito Donaire hit him with that shot, and he had his arms flaring on the rope, it's really impressive to see that he knew what to do in that kind of situation. And he tied him up right. He held him when he had to. He punched when he needed to, and he evaded when he cleared his mind. And some fighters will get get hit with shots like that and get gun shy, and retreat back, trying to continue to get his wits. In that round, when he was hit with that big shot, he did exactly that, but it didn't take him long to spring back into action. He was right back at Donaire, right in the center of that ring, in the round where he was hit big. And I believe he still won that round. So it was impressive to see. There's a lot of fighters out there that, like I said, once again, they're always the hammer, not the nail. And when he was the nail in that instance, he really impressed me with the ability, because those are things you don't go over in camp. I'm not sure if any of you have ever boxed or anything, but in my experience, me and my coach never went over. If you get knocked down, stay down 8 count, then I'm going to count out here. Then you get up. Then we never went over a drill like that. I never went over a drill. My coach goes, okay, he's going to hit you. Boom. Now I want you to grab him. We didn't practice that. We never practiced that. And for a man to know to do that, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. It just goes to show you that he was built to fight. There's one thing about fighters, and there's one thing about boxers. And to be a fighter, you also have to have a fighter's instinct. You have to be born to always have that type of mentality, even when you're hurt, stunned, or you're going through the most difficult time in that fight. That you go back to your corner and you laugh it off, kind of, and say, okay, you hit me like this, you got me like this. All right, I got you. I'm going to win this fight. Let's go. And you got to motivate yourself when times are getting hard and when times are tough. Man, anybody can shine when the fight's going good. I'll tell you who you are when you're losing the fight and you come back and win the fight. I'll tell you who you are. You know, not everybody's built like that. Some men just in a fight when they're losing, they accept the role of losing. They don't try anything new. And they don't, and later they'll go, oh, if I would have made adjustments or I would have did this, X, Y, and Z, I would have been better. But no, you know, just call him ninja all day. Artistry. I think that's what that says at the end. Tapales is flat-footed in some of his fights and likes to throw wild left hooks. I wonder how big it. I talked about that. I talked about the fact that, Tapales will throw big hooks, but it's sometime he does this when he knows he has his opponent hurt and his technique falls to the wayside a little for me. I think that if by any chance he thinks that he hurts the Japanese superstar and he shows up like this, like and um uh Naoya's like watching him like this, and then he comes in, he starts trying to hook, it's over. It's over. The Japanese superstar is too sharp. He's too sharp and he's really good with straight punches, just like Paul Butler found out, you know, and Stephen Kubo Fulton found out. He'll flick that shoulder like that, and Donaire found out, and he'll just, you seen how close Donaire was in the second Donaire fight, and Donaire went to throw a punch, and he flinched this way, and Donaire was like, "I got you," and before even Donaire knew what was going on, he was on the ground. He's too sharp. That Japanese dude is too sharp. And if he flares his arm out anywhere between, okay, if he flares his arm out this much, it's over. It's over. It's over. You're not going to be able to get away with that with him. So I think he's going to have to abandon his hooks unless he really has him hurt. I don't think that he wants to show up with that kind of strategy, but I also believe that every fighter doesn't fight the same fight, the next fight the same. He probably felt like he can get away with those hooks against that guy. I hope so, because he is really, look, I've watched him, and sometimes you can just watch a fight and you're saying, oh, he's just throwing punches. But I started paying attention to Tapales. I know what I'm looking for, right? And I was like, on average, I was like, he's landing at a high rate, at a very high rate. And I started watching his fights, and I'm watching one after the other, one after the other, and I'm noticing that this is a recurring thing. He's hitting his fighters at a really high rate. He's landing a lot of his punches, and to like the untrained eye, it might like not seem like much. You're like, that's whatever. And no, he hit MJ with some shots MJ's never been hit before. And that's what stopped MJ in the first rounds until he bit down on the mouthpiece and was like, fuck it, I got to go forward. I got to take it to Tapales. Because MJ was getting hit with shots that he was like, where the hell did that come from? And that's what I mean about being slick. He thought he was like, I got him flick, and he would boom and hit him. And Tapales has good timing. But when you're fighting against a fighter like the Japanese superstar that understands all of this, his timing is not going to come up too much, because I believe what's going to end up happening is the same thing that happens to all the Japanese superstars victims. He doesn't give them time to breathe, to think, to react. His pressure is so strong and so relentless that the fighter forgets why they're there and what their game plan was. He'll make you forget that. He'll have you in so much trouble in a matter of seconds that you'll be trying to survive. Tapales is not going to have that normal night where the guy in front of him is allowing him to do and get off what he wants to get off. That's when Tapales is at his best. Naoya Inoue is not going to do that. He's not going to let him breathe. And pretty soon, Tapales is going to be in there and he's just going to be reacting, not responding. That's going to happen. I'm trying to tell you. That's exactly what's going to happen. And that's what happens to all his victims, bro. They come in there with a good game plan. I'm going to do this, X, Y, and Z. I'm going to rock this Japanese dude. I hear it all the time, bro. I heard time and time again. I heard it. I've heard this. It's like a broken record, bro. And then he turns these dudes into human punching bags. And they forget what they were doing. They're just surviving. They're like, oh, what the? I believe one guy asked his coach, "Are you sure there's only one of them in there? Because I'm getting jumped right now. I think there's like 5 ninjas inside the ring with me. You sure there's only one?" Yo, he would beat the brakes off some of these dudes. You know? Nah, there ain't no upset for Tapales. Tapales fights like Rocky Balboa. Woo! Did you just judge a real fighter with a movie script fighter? I'm gonna let that go. uh, um, look, Tapales fights. I'm not gonna say like a Filipino. All the fighters fight the kind of same because of Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao has a big influence on Filipino fighters and their style of fighting. They kind of like a fight caterance, punch caterance fighters, where that Manny Pacquiao had like a punch cadence. It's very important in boxing too, by the way. But a lot of fighters don't fight like this. But Manny Pacquiao was famous for it, so this is the way he fought. And his punches would be, he was so fast that he would get you with that 1-2. And if you stepped, he would hit you with the left, like he knocked out Ricky Hatton, right? So his punch caderance was really, really good. And that is basically what a lot of Filipino fighters, for me anyway, kind of favor. You see, where that, like I said, he's not going to look like the Japanese superstar, but make no mistake, he can fight. Do I think that he's on the Japanese superstar's level? No. Do I think that he's going to have enough? Look, let's keep the Japanese dude human. Let's keep him human. Okay. Anybody can get hit with a big shot. Anybody can get caught. Do I believe this guy has the skill to catch a guy this smart and intelligent? I don't see it happening. I believe that the Japanese superstar is just been in too many situations. He's well schooled in the art of boxing. Um, I think that he gets better with each outing. And I do not see that Tapales is going to really impose his will. And like I said before, at some point in the fight, real soon in the fight, the Japanese superstar has a tendency of starting very fast against left-hand opponents. There has been no left-hand opponents that have passed 3 rounds with him in his entire career. He's dispersed left-handed fighters faster than right-handed fighters, in fact. Okay? Tapales is a left-hander. No left-hander has passed 3 rounds with him. I mean, I'm just giving you the facts, and I'm giving you what he did it. So Tony, please, I'll keep doing your thing, brother. Thank you. Oh, what's up? $5. Thank you for the donation, Tony. Thank you for supporting the channel. I appreciate it. Thank you. You guys are surprising me today. You know what I'm saying? It get me all, you know what I'm saying, rattled here and stuff. You know what I mean? Oh man, thank you guys, man. I appreciate you guys supporting the channel and believing in me and really like staying with me as I was growing in the channel, bringing up the background and everything, figuring out the terminologies for this YouTube thing and how to really put it down. And I'm just working on my craft every day. Sometimes I'm real critical on myself. I try to watch when I constantly saying that word. You know what I mean? I want to eliminate that out of my vocabulary and stuff. And I really try to like strive myself to bring you guys the best contents and not make stuff up. And just bring facts. And be honest with boxing when sometimes people are pushing narratives and these false things and a lot of hate sometimes and not doing their homework. Because if a lot of people would have took the time and the courtesy to do their homework, they would have seen that this Japanese superstar is a real one, and there's not there's not too many fighters right now that I can say that are really, in today's standard alone. There's not a lot of super mega stars in the sport of boxing. There's only like a handful, like Canelo Alvarez, Tank Davis, the Japanese superstar is trying to break through that. Terrence Crawford's obviously there. You got the other day, Ryan Garcia fought, and he had a little bit of trouble selling out, and he's a mega superstar online. So this boxing thing, not everybody's got big names. And not everybody can do what some of these boxers are doing. So I really like, and I really like to come on and tell it like it is when fighters are being talked about in a manner like you're watching this guy fight and these guys are saying he's a hype job. You're like, "Oh, that's not what I'm seeing. Oh no, this guy does steroids. He has hand wraps. He's cheating. He's this, he's that." And you're like, okay, so and then who wrapped his hands? So these guys, he agreed to do it. Okay, boop, he knocked him. Wait a minute, is that how a hype job fights? That dominant? The hype jobs knock out people like that? Jesus Christ! Like, and it was like he had to earn his way. But the one good thing is that he is earning his way. And the one good thing is that he is doing it in such a remarkable and impressive fashion. It's truly remarkable what he is doing. When you think about it, only having 25 fights, coming into his 22nd professional world title matchup, and it will be his 23rd knockout, is his 22nd knockout, 21st consecutive, but going into the fight, it'll be 26, 22, and 23 after the fight. That's what his record will look like if he's successful. And, there's just, look, I think right now, the sport of boxing and the Japanese fighters, they have a bright future. I think that Tapales right now has a lot of questions to answer. A lot of questions to answer. He's going to have a big puzzle in front of him. I kind of think that he was kind of like pushed into this fight in a way, but in another way, it is his biggest payday up to date. And like I said, Foster would give the Japanese superstar, I think he would give him a decent fight. I just think would play out in a fight in a scenario like that with Foster, the Japanese guy would outsmart him and he would lure him into a big shot. I think that Foster, when you got a man like Foster, the way he lost the other time and just recently too, he relies a lot on his speed and he wants to become that power puncher. He really does. He wants to become that guy. And I think that that was a mistake that he went into the fight. Like, I believe thinking that he could get the knockout rather than just letting the knockout occur you know. Um, so I think that Foster is a good boxer. I really do. I think he's long. I think he's tall. But once again, this Japanese guy has fought guys exactly his height already, exactly his length already. So he fought a Frenchman and Jamie McDonald that is just as big. So his height and his length doesn't convince me. Foster's. It doesn't convince me. The fact that he can box doesn't convince me. Everybody you can box. I just don't think that this Japanese guy has a tendency of moving around people's jab very effortlessly. Um, Paul Butler has a pretty decent jab. Jamie McDon um what was his name? Jamie Maloney had a great jab. Rodriguez had a great jab. Donaire had a great jab. Um, uh, um, I know I'm missing a couple other fighters. Stephen Kubo Fulton had a great jab, and he moved around their jabs so effortlessly. I don't even think that Stephen Kubo Fulton got enough jab shots on the Japanese superstar in that fight. And Stephen Kubo Fulton has one of the quickest jabs I've seen. Not in the entire game, but he has a decent quick jab, and he couldn't catch up to him. So if you're going to try to sit there and convince me that Foster's jab is going to catch this guy, he's going to be able to move around it effortlessly. So that's what I think, So what was that, Bud? Declared that he is interested to dominate Super Barlow's. Thank you for the shout out. Thank you for the support. $5. Thank you. Yes. Look. See, that's the. Gotta go. But dope stream. Keep it up. Thank you. PR. Thank you. Thank you for your support. The one thing about this Japanese superstar, he has surprised a lot of us. Okay, and he has a tendency of jumping weight divisions. When he started off his career, he started off at 108. Okay, he made a jump from there to 115. He passed by two weight divisions. He jumped past two weight divisions because he could no longer make that weight. When he won that belt, he didn't even defend that belt. That boy was starving. He says, "Yo, I'm not jumping. I'm gonna miss the next weight division." He moved right past him, So that was very interesting. And then the way he dominated, he just kept dominating through the weight divisions. So the fact that he's saying, I don't put it past him. I think that he will dominate. And I made a video about this, and I'll come out and I'll bring it out in a little clip. And I said it. He has the tendency of vacating the belts no sooner that he wins them and passing one weight division, meaning he would jump right past the 126 and hop right into the 130. If he hops into that, he puts one foot into the one, he just goes like this, steps into the 130 division, everybody at 135, 140 all going to turn around like this. There's the money fight right there. And it might entice some people to get serious and cut some weight and go down and try to pull this fight off, because that's a big fight. You know, yeah, if he puts if he steps 1 foot in the 130, people are going to turn around. People are going to turn around. Tank Davis might turn around. The Ryan Garcias could turn around. The Teofimo Lopez's shit could turn around. There's a lot of people. The Lomachenko can be right there. Lomachenko's a little dude. Lomachenko could lose a little bit of weight, meet him at a catch weight. Loma versus the Japanese superstar. That might be a good fight too. Wait a minute. That might be a big fight too. Why didn't I ever think about Loma? You know why? Because Loma's been inactive. He comes back for a year, one fight, leaves for a year, one fight, leaves for another year. That's how he's been doing it. That's why his name doesn't stay in my head. But Loma would be a good fight against the Japanese superstar. I believe he'd be enticed to turn around. Um, I'm not sure. I'm not sure that he would want to fight a fighter like Shakur Stevenson, because Shakur Stevenson would run from him. He's not gonna. It's like a Paul Butler. The Japanese guy is not gonna want to chase him. He wants a guy that's gonna stand right there and fight. This guy's a fighter, bro. He doesn't want to chase this dude. He wants you to fight him. He ain't running from nobody. Not one fight he's ran from anybody. So those would be some really big fights that are very enticing fights. Um, yeah, yeah. So he's been known to jump past the division. He's been known to do that. Whether or not he stays in the 122, there has been rumors and report in Japan. At one time, he was saying that he was going to stay in the 122 pounds, and that he was going to clear out some things. Like I said in this video in the beginning, he was going to clear out that division, the 122-pound division, make sure that there was no one at 122 that said you might have been ducking me, or that you didn't give me a chance, or this and that. The problem is that he's only chasing champions. And unless you have the belt, he's really not looking your direction. He's really committed, and he's on a mission. And he's going to prove to the boxing world that if you stay dedicated to the sport, boxing is a lonely man's sport. It truly is. You can't have all these entourages and shit while you're in the middle of your career. You can't be accepting to go all to these lavish parties. And I get it. Some of these fighters were dead broke. And they came up and made it. And you see your favorite rapper, your favorite musician, or, whatever, your favorite athlete, and they invite you back to the party. I get it. It's hard to say no. But in those moments, you got to be like, I'll catch up with you later. I'll catch up with you at the end of my career. Ward is being invited everywhere now. He's retired, undefeated champion, and he had all retired with all the belts. Guess what he's doing right now? Getting invited to parties. And at that point in your career, you're supposed to be dedicated as a fighter and be like, nah, I can't get up with you right now. I got to stay in shape. I got to stay it. The fact that Tapales blew up that much weight when he got in the ring after beating Stephen Kubo Fulton, Naoya Inoue, he was standing in the ring. Tapales came in the ring with that fucking white shirt with the flower things on it or whatever. Yo, did you see his face? It was like this. He had gained so much weight, and he just recently beat NJ within like not even 4 months. What was it, like 3 months or something? And he gained that much weight? And that's what I mean about fighters and their level of dedication. I've never seen this Japanese dude blow up, miss weight, party, be out there doing stupid shit. Never. Never. Bro, for God's sake, he was in the ring, right? He just knocked out Stephen Kubo Fulton. Homeboy gets in the ring. He's like, bro, I will fight you in December. Let's do it in December. Not even 6 months from the time. He's just like, look, just let my hands heal a little bit. I'll be back training and I'll punch you in the face and I'm taking yours. He's going to do it. He's going to do it. That is just a man that's taking advantage of every opportunity that was given into him. When in the sport of boxing, there are men and women that have been fighting for years and have never gotten a title shot, even though they deserved it. Jerron Boots Ennis. Okay, even though they deserved it. Okay, never been given a title shot. And this guy's getting title shots pushed onto him, and he's like, yup, I'll do it. Yup, I'll do it. Yup, I'll fight him. Yup. True champion. What more do you want? How could you say that this guy's a hype job? How could you say that this guy, why is everybody, a lot of people hating on him? Why? Why? Because you know why? Because they don't know nothing about him. They don't know nothing about him. And if they were to look him up, they would know. This dude is the truth, man. Yeah, he is the fucking truth, man. He is something else. And yeah, this is gonna be an amazing fight. I'm gonna wrap this video up. I just think, and I want to thank everyone that donated. Tony, thank you. But Burgos, thank you for the super support. Thank you everyone for tuning in, supporting the channel. Please give the video a like, and yes, I can see you. You can see me. Oh my God, listen, I have something wrong with the channel. So you're like probably like noticing that those posts and those things that I was saying, that was an hour and 28 minutes ago. Yeah, so something's wrong with my picture. I wish I could just show you. I'm like frozen like this on my end. I can't even see myself. So I don't even know what's going on. And some of the comments are coming late. So somewhere in the system there was a glitch and I couldn't get out of it. So I just once somebody said, "Yeah, we see and hear you," I'm just going off just talking because I got no picture. I got no picture. So but thank you for tuning in, guys. You know what I'm saying? We've covered a lot. This is gonna be my Christmas gift to myself. Already told the missus, gotta order it. But I also gotta remind myself that if you're new to watching the Japanese superstars fights, they're very early in the morning, very early. One of his fights was like it started around 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. They finally got in the ring around 10 o'clock in the afternoon. Another fight was a little bit later, but the majority of his fights are in the morning. And because of the time frames from Japan to America is off, they're getting in the ring over there at like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night, but it's being broadcast over here at 7 o'clock in the morning. So just in case you're new to this, if you've already know this, you guys know this. But to the people that don't know it, I don't want you to wake up and miss the fight. There has been time where my football team played in London. You know what I'm saying? And it was at 9 o'clock in the morning. I woke up at 1 o'clock and was like, let's go football. And then like game's over. I'm like, what? The game's over. It was in London. I'm like, no, no, no. Right. So I don't want you to wake up December 26th and be like, the fight's over. And you're like, no, so it's gonna be in the morning. So I'm gonna make some more videos about this. We can talk much more. I'm still trying to figure out the ins and outs on my live with my system. I'm working on it. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you for all your comments. And like always, I'm on to the next one, people. What else? Let me answer some things. Chain. Take it easy, bro. See you next time. Okay. Yes, take it easy, man. And I will see you next time. Hugh her. Yes, listen. What's up? I wish I could read this guy's name, but it is in Japanese. I'm not gonna be able to do it, homie. I'll be messing up people's names anyway. I barely pronounce the names because I trash people's names. All right. Yeah, I don't know what it is. It's been like that since a child. Hey, but it is what it is, people. I love you guys. Thank you for supporting the channel. Like always. I'm on to the next one. Peace.